Hello, Ravens, and welcome back to Ravens News. Before we get into today's assembly, we would like to congratulate the girls' basketball team.
While we took a week off from the news, the Maple Ridge cross country team attended their first GBSAA final and came home with a total of 4 top 10 finishes. Special congratulations to Claire, Johnny, Liam, and Sophia for their top 10 placement. In addition, the junior boys team placed 3rd overall. Mrs. Palmer, Mrs. Gledhill, and Mr. Wesley would like to congratulate all members on an amazing first season. Moving on to basketball, on Wednesday the junior girls basketball team traveled to Annville to compete in the SCAA final. With an undefeated season on the line, the girls got the job done once again, and with the final score of 69-8. Congratulations, girls. Next action is on Monday in the GBSSA finals, where the girls are looking to cap off an undefeated season in Collingwood. Good luck.
Today is a more serious newscast as we remember all who served in the nation's defense.
It's important to remember and honor all who have risked and lost their lives serving in the Canadian Army.
And it's also important to acknowledge the land that we are situated on. With that being said, please stand for the land acknowledgement.
The Simcoe County District School Board acknowledges that we are situated on the traditional land of the Anishinaabe people. We acknowledge the enduring presence of the First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people on this land and are committed to moving forward in a spirit of reconciliation and respect.
To start our Remembrance Day service, we would like to talk a little bit more about what Remembrance Day is.
Remembrance Day was first commemorated in 1919 to celebrate the agreement that ended the First World War on November 11, 1918 at 11 a.m. We recognize those who sacrificed their lives for Canada, such as the armed forces and soldiers. Remembrance Day is the anniversary of the Armistice Agreement. Many people write poems and contribute wreaths of poppies to remember the hardships of the war. During Remembrance Day, we stand during a 2-minute period of silence at 11 a.m. after listening to the last post and a recital of the last stanza of the poem For the Fallen. This is because there's a sense as a country that we owe something to all the people affected by the war. Remembrance Day is now recognized as a national holiday for federal and provincial government workers. The largest ceremonies are attended in major cities by many of the population. The poppies that we wear and receive every Remembrance Day are sold by the Royal Canadian Legion to provide assistance to veterans. All funding goes to them and their families. The poppy is now a symbol of remembrance, as it was the flower that grew in the fields the war took place in. The saying, "Lest we forget," is used in remembrance ceremonies to remind people not to forget about those who gave their lives in war. Remembrance Day is an important day in Canada that must be recognized and remembered. Lest we forget.
It was good that we took a moment to share aspects of the history of Remembrance Day.
That video was very eye-opening. The next topic we will hear about is the history of the poppy.
Why do we wear poppies? The reason why we wear poppies is because it is the flower that grows at the end of the World War II battlefield. It is also the way that all Canadians remember and appreciate the soldiers that have lost their lives or have put their lives on the line and fought. This is described in the famous World War I poem In Flanders Fields by Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae.
In Flanders fields the poppies grow,
between the crosses, row on row,
that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly.
Scarce heard amid the guns below.
We are the dead short days ago.
We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow.
Loved and were loved, and now we lie.
In Flanders Fields.
Take up the quarrel with our foe.
If ye break faith with us who die.
We shall not sleep, through poppies grow.
In Flanders Fields.
Where do poppy funds go? Poppy funds go to good use. They go towards grants for food, heating costs, medical items and equipment, shelter assistance or repairs for veterans and their families, and much more. The poppy funds mostly go towards anything for veterans and their families, for the things they could be going through, which is why we see so many people everywhere with poppies during this time.
Here are the major conflicts Canada has been involved in. New France, from 1534 to 1763, when the first French settlements came to Canada. The 7 Years' War, from 1756 to 1763, where it was Great Britain and their allies versus a coalition of France and their allies. The War of 1812, which was US versus Great Britain over Great Britain breaking the US maritime rights. The South African War from 1899 to 1902, which was Great Britain versus South Africa for South Africa's independence. World War I from 1914 to 1918 and World War II from 1939 to 1945. The Korean War from 1950 to 1953, which was North Korea versus South Korea. Afghanistan from 2001 to 2014, where Canada and other countries invaded Afghanistan to overthrow the Taliban. We have also been doing peace support operations since 1954. Peace support operations are organized international assistance initiatives to support the maintenance, monitoring, and building of peace, and also the prevention of resurgent violent conflict.
It's crazy how much meaning a little flower can hold. Now let's take a look at what Mr. Collins' grade 10 drama class came up with for Remembrance Day.
Today's last 18, he was waiting for the bus in his army green. Sat down in a booth in a cafe there, gave his order to a girl with a bow in her hair. He's a little shy, so she gave him a smile, and he said, would you mind sitting down for a while and talking to me? I'm feeling a little low. She said, I'm off in an hour and I know where we can go. So they went down and they sat on the pier. He said, I bet you got a boyfriend, but I don't care. I got no one to send a letter to. Would you mind if I send one back here to you? I cried, never gonna hold the hand of another guy. Too young for him, they told her, waiting for the love of a traveling soldier. Our love will never end, waiting for the soldier to come back again. Never more to be alone when the letter says a soldier's coming home. So the letters came from an army camp in California, then Vietnam, and he told her of his heart. It might be love and all of the things he was so scared of. He said, when it's getting kind of rough over here, I think of that day sitting down on the pier, and I close my eyes and see her pretty smile. Don't worry, but I won't be able to write for a while. I cried, never gonna hold the hand of another guy. Too young for him, they told her, waiting for the love of a traveling soldier. Our love will never end, waiting for the soldier to come back again. Never more to be alone when the letter says a soldier's coming home.
I don't know why I'm writing this, because I really hope that this letter never gets to you. Because if it does, that means I'm dead. Just because I have passed away does not mean I'm not with you. I'll always be here looking over you and keeping you safe. So whenever you feel lonely, just close your eyes and I'll be right there by your side. I really did love you, and you were all I had. You were everything to me. Lee Thornton to his fiancée.
Dear Mr. and Mrs. Drader, this is without doubt the hardest task I have ever had to do. Telling you of the death of your son and my best friend. He was game to the very last. He was a soldier every inch, and he died a soldier's death. Lieutenant Harry E. Balfour. But there is nothing we can do about the bombing. Man is powerless against fire and brimstone. Life is beautiful, but war is hell. Lieutenant R. Azzy.
Dear Mr. Hogarth, will you kindly accept my sincere sympathy and condolence in the seas of that worthy citizen and heroic soldier, your son, Private John Gordon Hogarth. While one cannot too deeply mourn the loss of such a brave comrade, there's a consolation in knowing that he did his duty fearlessly and well, and gave his life for the cause of liberty and the upbuilding of the empire. Again, extending to you my heartfelt sympathy, faithfully, Lieutenant General Stephen J.
One Friday night at a football game, little girl with a bow in her hair. I cried, never gonna hold the hand of another guy. Too young for him, they told her, waiting for the love of a traveling soldier. Our love will never end, waiting for the soldier to come back again. Never more to be alone when the letter says a soldier's coming home. I cried, never gonna hold the hand of another guy. Too young for him, they told her, waiting for the love of a traveling soldier. Our love will never end, waiting for the soldier to come back again. Never more to be alone when the letter says the soldier's coming home.
Next, Mrs. McGoey and her dancers Holly, Anaya, Autumn, Matthew, and Maddie have choreographed, rehearsed, and performed a lyrical dance to John Lennon's Imagine.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one.
It's amazing the talent and ability to display words through movement our students have.
A poem written by Lawrence Binion called For the Fallen says, "They shall not grow old as we left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. We will remember them, we will remember them." So, as we segue, we now ask that you bow your heads and take a moment of silence and honor those who lost their lives.
Now, please remove your hats and stand for the playing of our national anthem.
So that concludes this week's newscast and our Remembrance Day service.
Thank you for all the respectfulness you have all shown.
Lest we forget. Bye, Ravens.